Hey guys, Epsy here. I hope you enjoyed the Mia video that I put out. There will be more coming up as I get more time and as I manage to acquire more bots. But today I'm not here to talk about that. What I'm really here to talk about is just a couple of things that I've been noticing for maybe the past week and a half that's been going on in CosmicBreak. First thing that we'll talk about is Panzers. Oh my god, Panzers. I don't really know where to start, but Panzers lately, if you've been playing CV2, you've seen it. Like, almost 80% of the matches, maybe even 90% of the matches literally start with just Panzers just all rushing each other's bases and just like ripping everything to shreds. Now, I'm not here to complain and say, oh, they're doing too much damage or this and that, or they need a nerf. Well, they do, but the way I want to go about this is I decided to do something different. Instead of just getting ripped apart and complaining and saying, oh my god, this is too OP, everybody needs to stop running Panzers, I decided to do a little comparison myself. I played without them, and then I made builds similar to them, and I played them myself. Like, I played them as well. And after playing them and seeing how they were, yeah, I kind of realized what needs to be done to them to give them a proper fix. The first thing that I think should be done to them is they should receive more damage than they already do, especially during their attack phases. I noticed that while I was playing, like, yeah, they take damage because they don't really have a lot of range, so flying would be the optimal answer. But you have to keep in mind that boost gauges don't last as long as a person simply walking on the ground. So it's all just a matter of just waiting for them to come down or waiting for them to just run out of boost gauge, or even finding a way to get up to them, which isn't really that hard once you really think about it. And if you just see too many airs in a certain fight, just wait. But the reason why I say that they don't take enough damage isn't because, oh, they deal way too much damage before they die. Well, that is the case. But it's more so the fact that when they actually start fighting, the reward for them just flying into battle and doing as much damage as they do is barely penalized when they actually die. Like I said, I have clips where I'll actually go from like 9th place, going as a Panzer, dive into a crowd, and end up in 3rd place. And God forbid my team was first, using the Panzers and crush the other team's power spot. That's pretty much the game right there, regardless of where my positioning was. And I started noticing this more and more and more. The more I played Panzers, the more it became a problem running into them. And not running into them, but more of a problem of like how they're being used. And like I said, it's not really a complaint about Panzers. All I'm saying is they just need a slight fix. The next thing I want to talk about is basically the lobby. Cyberstep, I did say in my review that we don't mind waiting for new content and we'll give you a month, but it's almost been 3 months and we're still stuck in this one lobby. So that's gonna really drag people down and not really want to play anymore. I really suggest that you open up those doors and at least put a blank area there for people to just walk around. Even if there's nothing in there, it will help, because that can be a real downer for people who are playing, because it's just, okay, I'm in this room again, and then I go into a match, and then I'm in the room again, and then I go into a match. Like I said, you need to start opening up those doors already. It's been almost 3 months now, and I'm talking about the first day since beta we've been in this room. We kind of expected a little bit more areas to explore, and even CosmicBreak 1, when you started the game, when you played the game, you had ground, you had central, and you had your union area. So Cyberstep, I think it's about time. The next thing that I want to talk about is something that I did mention also in the review that I never mentioned in the recap that I think could work, and I've taken some time to really play this out to see if we're ready for this, and it's PvP. Like I said, you can make an open room with nothing in there, but you could also, if you wanted to, add a lot of those NPCs in those areas, because you have really good NPCs. Not pathfinding wise, they're a little dumb, but in terms of like performance, how they can battle you and whatnot, I've actually had a lot more of a challenge fighting some of these NPCs than average players, or even good players at times. Like, they actually tend to outbeat them. So why not put that to use? Take them out of the arena and start putting them outside and let people start to use them. Now, back to the Panzer thing that I was talking about. I'm not saying that all Panzers need to start taking damage like crazy. Don't get me wrong. Lunastasia, I think, is fine. I think she's the perfect example of what a Panzer is. And I know there are going to be people that are going to say, oh, well, what's the point of them taking more damage? They're supposed to be tanky. That's what a Panzer is. Yeah, that's true. But if you've also looked at their stats, they also have way more HP. Now, because of that, like I said, I'll even put up a clip where I'll show, where there's literally like 4 of us fighting this one Panzer, and he has 2 people shooting him from a distance and 2 people meleeing him, and he doesn't have a single carry in the world. He's just literally flying through, just eating up, doing a lot of damage. And like I said, upon using the bots myself, I started noticing that, like, using Panzers and not even fully modding them the way they need to be, I started to really see the difference of what was happening. And I'm not talking about score-wise, but I'm just talking about performance-wise of what was happening when I'm fighting opponents. So, just like I said, as a recap, Cyberstep, I really do think that you should start nerfing Panzers a little bit. I'm surprised that you haven't done it already, because like it's kind of evident when you see like 80% of the population or 80% of the community using Panzers and using them actively as they are. Usually when you see people do this in a game, and I know, let me stop for ahead of time, because people are going to say, oh, well, what if that means if they're using bots, then there's something wrong with that. Well, let me use an example from another game that I played, APB. Jump shooting was the thing. People would, and what jump shooting is basically, there was a sniper called the Scout, where people could jump and shoot, and their accuracy would not dwindle at all. They nerfed this, and then what happened was, because they only nerfed this, HVRs, which were another sniper that actually did more damage, almost like literally 99.5% damage, compared to snipers, which only like scouts, only did about 55% damage of your health. So now, because people saw that they were doing so much damage with the snipers, like the regular HVRs, it became this thing called quick switching, when people will shoot you with the pistol and then flip over to their sniper and shoot you. And this is a common thing. Like, it's more than common. You'll see this a lot. Sometimes you'll see entire teams just run this. This is the same trend that I'm seeing in CosmicBreak too. You're seeing entire teams running Panzers. You're seeing entire teams just only using this method. And whenever, like I said, whenever you see this happening, and this is happening frequently and more than frequently, that means there's something wrong in the balance. So, like, and it was like how before, the Victory 1s, when they were Q shooting, people were Q shooting like mad, and nobody was really there to stop them. Then when the nerf came, and guess what? The Q shooting came to a halt. It didn't come to a halt, people still do it, but you don't see it all, like, as rampant as it was before it was nerfed. But now you're seeing the Panzers all over the place. And you take this as you want. You could say, oh, FC, you're just crying, and this and that, you're just mad because you're... Remember, like I said also, I did use them myself, and I did see this happen, like, you know, me gaining a significant advantage by just playing this type. This is going to really hurt balance, and this may be another reason why people are getting turned off and the servers are somewhat emptying out. It's just a culmination of, oh, I'm standing in this one lobby that I've been standing in for 3 months, and then I'm going to the match and just getting mushed by Panzers, or only playing Panzers. That's a bad combination. So, Cyberstep, really look into what you're doing, and, like, you know, like I said, I'm not saying make Panzers hurt less. I'm not saying make them slower. I'm not saying, you know, make them have less range. And no, I'm not even saying anything that drastic. I'm just saying just lower their defenses a little bit. If they took 15 damage per shot, make them take 20. Yes, it sounds like nothing, but that's going to add up after a while. And remember, like I said, they already have tons more HP. So that in itself is tanky. They shouldn't be, yes, they can go flying into matches, but they shouldn't be, like, super gung-ho like they are now. And the clips that I'm playing will show this, how they're playing and how people are playing them and getting where they are. Then after that, it's to go back to the lobby thing. Just 3 months of the lobby being just that. After a while, we kind of do want to see new scenery. Like, it's kind of killing us that we're not seeing anything, because when we see it this way, no offense, regardless of what you're putting in, you put in the clan system, yes. You're putting in the skin system, yes. You put in more pieces, you rotated stuff out, yes, that's great. But on the surface, when you just see that lobby and only that lobby, it doesn't feel like there's any real progress at all. So that's really, like I said, that's really going to bring people down and not make them want to stick around as much. So, like I said, Cyberstep, like really listen up on that, because those are the two big things that really need to be looked at. And I can pretty much promise that if you were to do these two things, you'd see a little bit more of a boost in terms of where you are now. And the third thing, let me not forget, because I mentioned it earlier, is the PvE. Like I said, those bots are challenging when it comes to fighting them head on. I mean, Froglanders, one of the weakest bots in the game, were just ripping through my Lunastasias and ripping through my other bots easily S rank. And yes, the Froglander was S rank as well. And this is, like I said, this is not a complaint. This is not a complaint. This is a suggestion. This is me actually asking for those to be in the game more often. Put them around. Let them run around. Even if they don't drop much. Like, make them only drop UC. Make them only drop one UC. It doesn't matter. It'll allow people to actually be able to test their builds on something instead of having to wait to get into a match, test to see if their build works, and get out. And it allows people to wait while they're waiting for matches. It keeps them busy. It keeps our excuse me for the poor choice of words, but it keeps our mouths wet. God, that sounded awful. But yes, it whets our appetite. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. It whets our appetite. I might actually delete that last part, but but yeah, like those are three things that I really think we should look into and like put more effort into. Don't worry about new bots. Don't worry about don't worry about new content, new Garapons just yet. Just get those three things out there. And like I said, you're going to see a change in how people are playing, and you're going to see a change in like your population rate. It's starting to hurt. And I mean, it's starting to hurt bad. And I kept quiet for about a week and a half. But now it's becoming really evident. Like, most of these clips, not even most, all of these clips that you're seeing right now were all taken last night. And I'm not only taking specific parts of matches. I'm literally just clicking at a random point in the video and taking it out. And guess what I'm seeing? Millions of panzers everywhere. So, Cyberstep, really, really look into this. Like, you guys see it. I believe in you. I'm putting out content, and I'm doing whatever I can to get your game out there and getting people to see it more often. But just as much as I'll praise you guys, I'm also going to say the things that are hurting you and the things that you're not doing so well. It's not out of, being, the vengeful CB1 player that suffered from the Garapon. It's more of, I'm being more of the guy that actually wants to see this game excel. Like I said since my first video, I love you guys, Cyberstep. You guys have had my heart since beta of, day one beta of CB1. You guys had me since then. I'm just asking not to keep me there. You have me for a while. But sooner or later, if things keep going the way they are now, I might be going too. And I know that sounds harsh, but I have to say what needs to be said if you guys want to help your game get further. And these, like I said, are the three things that you really need to work on. Not to beat a dead horse, but remember, it's reduce Panzer's defenses a little bit. Add a new spot other than the lobby. Because at this point, you're better off just having a menu where people just select the match and go in. And add some kind of PvP. You guys have the bots, you have the AI and everything to do it. All it takes is slapping down on land, transporting to that land, and fighting those bots in that area. That's all it takes to do that. Thanks for listening, guys. And I apologize about this 13-minute, 14-minute rant. I just wanted to get this out there because this was a little overdue. But like I said, I didn't want to just come out and just complain. I'm not that kind of guy. I like to make sure I fully see what I'm looking at first and understand what I'm looking at first from both from one person's perspective and the other person's perspective before I give my own input. Catch you guys later. And be safe. And most importantly, dive into imagination.